Welcome to all the viewers. This is Dr. Bookworm back with a new video of our scholarship training series called Scholarship Mantra. And in this episode, we are going to discover how to build an ideal academic profile. When it comes to building an ideal academic profile, it is not an overnight job. You need to spend time and you need to improve bit by bit each portion, each section of your CV to strengthen it and look like an ideal academic profile. So whether you are a student studying your BS, Masters or PhD, this video can serve as a master plan for you towards building an ideal academic profile. So stay tuned by the end of the video as I'm going to share my own academic CV in this video for your reference. By using this CV, I was able to win 4 fully funded scholarships in Australia, in Ireland, Poland and China. So stay tuned by the end of the video, and I'm also going to share a one-pager resume of Elon Musk by the end of this video, and we are going to analyze the differences between resume and academic CV. So it is very important to understand the difference between the two and to understand the components of your academic CV so that you can build a balanced profile to apply for a fully funded scholarship. So let's begin our today's discussion on how to build an ideal academic profile. So the agenda for today's discussion would be to understand what an academic profile is, what are the key components of an academic profile, how to build an balanced academic profile. So when it comes to building an ideal academic profile, there is nothing idealistic that exists in academia. So there is always a room for improvement. What you should be looking for and you should be targeting at is a balanced academic profile that have all the key sections in it in a very balanced order. So if you have a bit of everything, you are good at everything in a balanced manner, that is considered as an ideal academic profile. So at the end of the video, I'll be sharing my own CV with all of you, and I'll be sharing the resume of Elon Musk, so that you can see how you can summarize such a big profile into a one-pager document, and we will understand the differences between a resume and CV as well, and at the end we will summarize the whole lecture. So what is a profile? Every single thing that you have done since day one of your undergrad degree program. So make sure when you are building your academic CV or academic profile, you should begin with your achievements and academic record from undergrad onwards till day. So you do not need to include the information, certifications and achievements from your school, from your high school and from your college. An academic profile begins from your university, day one of your university life. So whatever you have achieved, whatever you have done since then should be included in your academic profile. So building an academic profile is a time-oriented approach. It is not an overnight process. You need to work on each section of your profile and improve it accordingly. So it is pretty normal, and it is perfectly normal to take a break after completion of your degree if you are intended to apply for a fully funded scholarship, especially in developed countries, in English-speaking countries, because it takes time to develop your publication, to develop your relevant work experience if needed, to find out internships, and to build your academic CV, acquiring trainings, etc. So everything requires a bit of time, so it is pretty normal to take a break after completion of your degree program. The earlier you start, the better you build. That is why these lectures are very important for the students who aim to apply for fully funded scholarships in the future. Not only the students that are right now applying, in addition to that, every student who has started his university degrees should take these lectures. So what are the key components of an academic profile? So we have divided the components into primary and secondary ones. So the primary ones are of prime importance, as the name depicts, and the secondary ones are a bonus. So if you have them in your profile, it would look really good. So first key component of your primary component of your academic profile is your CGPA. So there are many myths related to CGPA in the market. Students are very fearful to apply for fully funded scholarship, and they deem that only the high achievers can achieve the fully funded scholarships. It is totally wrong. If you have an average or above average CGPA, you can always apply for a fully funded scholarship. So if I talk about a CGPA out of 4, something between 3.2 to 3.8 would be considered ideal for an academic profile. Sometimes the high CGPA or distinction would become a problem for you, especially at the time of interview. The panel would challenge you a lot looking at your academic record. So sometimes it becomes difficult to defend your gold medal or distinction regarding your high CGPA. So if you have a balanced CGPA, that is perfectly fine and you can apply for any scholarship across the globe. So one criteria through which you can compensate your low CGPA is these tests. So there are different entrance tests that can be required to apply for a particular scholarship. Like if you are applying for Fulbright, you need to give GRE or GMAT in USA or LSAT. Then if you are applying in Europe or English speaking countries, you would need IELTS or TOEFL. And if you are applying for HEC based scholarships, then you would need HAT test. So the scores of these tests can have a good impact and can compensate your low CGPA if you have a bit of low CGPA as well. So research projects are very important. If you have a research based degree and you have collaborated or participated in the research projects, make sure you mention that in your profile if they have not yet been published. If they are published, you can mention your publications right away. So make sure you collaborate with your seniors, your professors, your teachers, and participate in the lab-based activities so that you can mention those projects later on. If you are in arts or literature sciences, you can always build a portfolio to enhance the value of your academic profile. Then statement of purpose is one of the key things that would support your academic profile a lot. If you are applying for fully funded scholarships, we have a separate lecture on how to write letter of motivation, statement of purpose, and personal statement, and the difference between three of them. So you can watch that video to have the complete details. Letter of recommendations are required from your academic references, so make sure you have good terms with your previous supervisor, co-supervisor, and collaborators that can be used as your academic referees to apply for fully funded scholarships. Then comes your work experience, especially if you are taking a break after completion of your degree program. Then it becomes really crucial to have a relevant work experience during that break. So no matter what salary you are getting, if you're getting a relevant job, go for it right away after completion of your degree, because for most of the developing countries at the time of visa application as well, you need to justify the gaps after your degree completion. So make sure you have a relevant work experience during that period. If you are a fresher, you should definitely go for the summer internships. You can also apply for international fully funded internship programs, exchange programs to strengthen your CV. So we also have separate videos on fully funded internship programs. You can check that out. So if you are into IT, software, tech fields, then you should be good at entrepreneurship, or you should participate in a project of practical value, and you can mention that in your profile. After COVID, the MOOCs have become very important, so you should have 2 to 3 relevant online courses in your profile. So the top ranked universities across the globe are offering free courses, so make sure you find 2 or 3 relevant courses to your research interest, to your subject area, or day-to-day communication, scientific writing, or something like that, and you can complete those certificates and get certified. Then a volunteer experience can become very important if you're applying in developing countries, especially in the exchange programs, because they would prefer those who are culturally adaptive, so people who can become their ambassadors later on. So if you have experience of working voluntarily or for social work or social awareness, then these are some of the things that can be of great value. So make sure you find 1 or 2 credible organizations and serve with them for a longer period of time in key positions so that you can get a relevant work experience through that. So if you're good at any extracurricular activity like sports, debating, and anything like that, so make sure you join your university societies and actively participate in such activities to get certifications. Then you should try to always participate in the competitions like poster competitions, like model competition, etc., and get awarded through those competitions. So different degrees can have a different hierarchy and different structure of these components, so make sure you structure these components according to your degree program and your research area. IELTS and TOEFL are only used as cutoffs. So these are some of the preliminary criteria to apply for some of the scholarships. So if you have or you fulfill the minimum criteria and the professor is supportive enough to take you as an applicant, then it is perfectly fine. You can go through with any score as far as you are fulfilling the minimum requirement. How to create an internationally acceptable CV format. So if you are new to creating a CV, just go to Europass website and you can create a free CV in an internationally acceptable format. So to apply for fully funded scholarship, you cannot use a locally formatted CV or resume that some of the students make mistake of using. So make sure your CV is created in an internationally acceptable academic CV format. So what is the difference between CV and resume? Resume is actually a professional document that is very concise, 1 to 2 pages, generally a one-pager document. A brief and targeted list of skills and achievements are mentioned in that, used for job application, fair or internships. Education is mentioned after work experience. So in resume, the point of focus would be your work experience and your skill set that is relevant to the job you are applying in. Whereas in the academic CV or curriculum vitae, it is a comprehensive document that can be from 2 pages to onwards, any number of pages depending on your profile, your work experience and your achievement so far. A reverse chronological order of an individual's entire career. So reverse chronological order means that the recent things will come first and the previous ones will come accordingly. So if you have completed your masters in 2023, it will come first. If you have done your bachelor's in 2020, then it will come second, and then your intermediate and so on. Used for academic positions, advanced research and fellowships. Education is mentioned at the top. So in academic CV, as the name suggests, academic details should come first and then your work experience, your skill set will follow along. So now we will have a look at the resume of Elon Musk. That is very nicely drafted. So it is just a sample resume and it is not the original resume of Elon Musk. He's not my friend, unfortunately. So we can have a look at this resume and we can see that how beautifully he has summarized all his achievements and all his skill set in a one-page document. So on the right side you can see the email, mobile number, a brief address. You don't need to mention the complete address in your CV or resume, just mention the suburb and the country, that is it. And you can mention any of your social media account or something like Zoom to reach you out. So there should be a very formal and professional looking picture, your name and the keywords or the professional keywords associated with you can be mentioned here, like entrepreneur, engineer, inventor and investor. In my case, I'm a plant biotechnologist, so I can mention that one. So then you will mention your objective statement very briefly. So you can read the statement as he has a very broad objective, but he has beautifully summarized those objectives into 2 sentences. So then comes your work experience. As I have mentioned that in resume, you will mention your work experience and skill set first and then followed by the education. So all your work experience and the dates and the respective your job description would be mentioned here. Then you will mention your skill set and competencies that is relevant to the job positions you are applying in. And then you would be mentioning your achievements and certificates. You can also mention your educational record here as well. And then you will mention your interests briefly. Make sure in the interest section you do not copy and paste simply the very repetitive ones. Make sure you mention only the real hobbies of yours in that section. So this is all about the resume. Now I will be sharing my own CV with all of you. So CV, as I have told you, is an academic document that is very comprehensive. So you will mention, you will attach one of your professional looking formal picture. So in the personal information section, you can write your name, address, mobile number, passport number, email ID, nationality, date of birth, Skype ID. So make sure all the contact details are up to date and actively available. So in case if they try to contact you, you should be available to them. So then you will briefly write a very short aim and objective statement. Make sure again you do not copy someone else's objective statement. and write it and craft it very carefully according to the scholarship or position you are applying in. So education and training, as in the CV I have told you earlier that you will mention your academic details first in the reverse chronological order. So the recent degree would come first. What is the title of your degree? What have you studied in that degree program? What is your score? What was your thesis title? What were the objectives of study, etc. You can comprehensively summarize all the details about your degree program. Then comes your BS honors degree and associated subjects and every details. And I'm not going ahead to intermediate and matriculation level because they are not required. Like I'm applying for PhD. If you are applying for masters, then you can go to intermediate level as well. So work and experience. So here you will summarize all the work experience you have that is relevant to your subject area. Then you will mention all your publications. Make sure you mention the status of your publication as well. If it is under process, you can mention under process. If it is published, you can mention published. And then you can mention your citation score or impact factor as well for each publication. So if you have any conference papers or abstracts, you can also mention them in this section, published abstracts. So then you will be mentioning your research and lab expertise very briefly, and again this should be relevant to the position you are applying in. Then comes your conferences, workshops and trainings. Again, they should be in the reverse chronological order, so the recent one would come first and the rest would follow. So awards and honors, if you have any, you can enlist in this section. Leadership skills and competencies, in this section you can mention all the training programs, your social activities, your volunteer ventures and projects, and the societies you have participated in, all can be mentioned here. So personal skills and competencies, you can mention here your IELTS score and each score in each of the modules. Then you can mention your technical skills and competencies. These days data science, statistical analysis and machine learning, artificial intelligence, these are some of the key technical skills that you should be aware of, and you should get some relevant certifications or trainings on those skills that can be of great value if you are applying for a fully funded scholarship. At the end, you will mention at least 2 academic referees that can serve as a referee for your scholarship application. Make sure to mention all the details about them, their status in the institute they are working in, their designation, etc., and contact details, so that they can be approached to get reference letters and more details about you. So this was all about the academic CV. I hope you have liked this lecture. If you have any questions, you can comment down this video. If you want my CV format, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. Follow my LinkedIn profile and inbox me. I will share the Word format of the CV so that you can edit it and create yours in this particular format. So with that, this is Dr. Bookworm signing off. Thank you.